Hi, I'm Jahane, and today for a sentimental video, I'm going to tell you a story about what happened to me my first couple of days of college. Something you need to know about me is I am super shy. Like, I'm getting better, but I'm really a shy person. And I'm a homebody. And the thought of leaving my home for the first time forever and not being able to see my family for weeks terrified me. And after moving in my first day of college, my parents had to leave eventually. And I just held my mom and cried because I didn't want her to go. Not that I didn't want to be at college, but I didn't want to lose my mommy. And I cried myself to sleep that first night because I was just scared out of my wits. The second day was okay. I don't remember much about it, but that first day being alone. But I remember we had a party for all the freshmen because we had lots of events going on, very busy. And I was just homesick, and I started crying. And I just didn't want to be there anymore. And I wanted to go home. But I needed to be there, And some other girls came over and saw that I was crying, and they welcomed me into their group and said, "Why don't you come sit with us, hang out with us?" And I'm not buddy with them, but they're still friends, to this day. And then I got back to my dorm, and that night changed my life. I'll never forget that night. I got back to my dorm and I started getting ready for bed. And I was ready for bed by like 11 o'clock, which for me, if you guys know anything about me, is really super early. And I was already in my PJs, teeth brushed, shower taken, ready to hop into bed, when a wonderful woman appeared at my door. Maggie, who's our RD, and she's our residential director, and she kind of kept an eye on us last year. And this was the first time I guess the two of us ever really got to talk. I still have it somewhere. She was hanging these little things on the door for all the events coming up for that first week of school. And she was super nice, and she said, we talked a little bit, and I told her I was homesick, and she said, "You want a hug?" And she gave me a hug, and I didn't go downstairs that first night in Pio. I kind of stayed upstairs and hid away from the world. But she's like, "You want to come downstairs? They're watching a movie, the cats are out." And inside I was like maybe, but in the inside I was like, I don't want to go downstairs. I don't want to see people. I'm shy. But the thought of going to see cats was pretty exciting. So I said, I'll go down, I'll make my appearance, and I'll come back upstairs. But I went downstairs and I played with the cats for a little while, and I watched like the last 5 minutes of the movie. And I was helping to clean up, and I was about to head back upstairs when Maggie said, "Hey, if you're not too tired, you want to come in my apartment? Some of the girls are making banana bread." And I really didn't. I was exhausted. But this sounded like an interesting conquest, and getting to hang out with the big kids. And so I went into their little apartment, and I watched these two wonderful women, who I eventually became friends with, make banana bread. And it was probably the most entertaining thing I've ever seen in my life because they had no idea what they were doing. But they welcomed me into their home. And her husband, Nathan, made me hot chocolate, and that was fun. And I sat in their apartment for I think it was about 1:30 when I finally went upstairs. And I think most of the RAs came over, and they were playing Phase 10, which is now like my favorite game of all times. And they were playing Phase 10, and I watched, and I got to talk to people, and I got to meet some really amazing people that night. And I felt so accepted and so welcomed into this newfound group of friends that I adored all of those girls. They are wonderful, wonderful women. And Nathan too. He's not a woman, but. And I felt so welcomed and so loved in those moments. It was amazing. They were so hospitable to me, and they loved me so much. It was amazing. Guys, I have a point for telling you this story. Be nice to people. Be hospitable. You see, I adored my first year of college. And I adored those girls I met that night and became wonderful, wonderful friends with all of them. But you see, that would have never happened to me. I would have never gone down to the lobby every night to hang out if it hadn't been for my wonderful Maggie, who came to my door and welcomed me downstairs, who welcomed me into her home and into her heart, and took a very scared, homesick little girl and turned her into a college kid who was making friends and having fun. It doesn't take a lot to make someone feel loved and accepted. It really doesn't take much at all. It takes a couple minutes to say, hey, do you want to come do something with me? Do you want to come in? Can I sit with you at lunch if no one else is sitting with them? Those girls who said, you want to come sit with us at our table? And I laughed and had fun with them. The night of banana bread. There were so many other wonderful nights after that, but that night was stellar. I can still remember sitting there at that table and getting introduced, beginning to make friends. Guys, there are a lot of lonely people out there in the world who want to be loved. And it's important to love people because that's our job. Christ loved us. He died for us. And he wants us to love everyone. Love your neighbor as yourself. And it doesn't take much to be hospitable. To offer some hospitality. A cup of hot chocolate. Some banana bread. A smile and a hug. It doesn't take much, but you could change somebody's life. My life was changed that night. I truly believe it. And I'm so thankful for a woman who took the time to say, Jane, do you want to come downstairs? Jane, do you want to come into my apartment? That's all it took. You could change someone's life today. And you could give them love and comfort, which is what they really need. If you just take the time to say, do you want to come in? That's all it really takes. Have a blessed day.